in our pre-show when we were talking about what you wanted to talk about, I was like, oh, I got a video, because I reacted and responded to that video the same way you did. Like, especially the prompt of, with chat or with AI, you prompt it. Like,
Yep.
As a psychology expert, knowing everything, like, what are the things that if you don't figure out and get under control, you will fail at life.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's like every single one, check. And on our mental health growth, post-traumatic growth, mental health journey, we can look at those and say, yep, that's true. Yep, that's true. And every single one of them is backed with biblical truth.
Welcome to the Mental Health Janitors, where we help you clean up the mess in your head. I'm your host, Sergeant Q, and with me, as always, Doc Jess.
Hi, welcome. Thanks for being here.
Yeah, I love it, Jessica. This is right up my alley. I speak on this, I teach on this, and all of my teachings that I have for all 18, almost 20 hours now worth of lessons, teaching that I have that I do in person, I'm breaking this down into little bite-sized 20-minute segments because most people don't have the bandwidth, the intestinal fortitude, the time, the energy to spend an hour a day or even a week focused on their mental health. So I'm trying to make it as easy as possible, like spoon feed this to people, because most people aren't as interested in this stuff as you and I are.
Yeah.
We're fascinated. So other people, they're like, yeah, I need to manage my mental health, but I've got these 17 hours of TikTok videos of cats that I need to watch first.
Yeah, thanks.
So if I can break this down into tiny little bite-sized segments, 20-minute learning, power learning moments, and then give them little activities that they can do that are simple and daily, I'm hoping that people will use this to grow their ACC and become able to emotionally regulate and avoid those other videos that we saw last week.
Yes. And what's interesting is that we're like recording on Sunday today, which is abnormal, but the sermon is on the forefront of my mind.
Yes.
And
were you in first service or second?
First.
Oh, I was in first too. I was looking around like,
is anybody going to get
out?
No, Billy was like, oh, that was good. And this is going to, anyway, okay. So yeah. And like, there's so many nuggets in it that I was taking so many notes, but one of them was, we love the idea of progress, but we don't like the process.
Yes.
To get the progress.
And you have to go through the process to get the progress.
Yes.
You have to. There are no shortcuts. And if you think you found one, that is not a shortcut. That is a dead end.
Well, and the interesting thing is, it's though we've figured that out, it still sucks.
Oh, every time.
I still don't like the process.
It doesn't make
to
it
get
easy.
The progress. I just suck it up, buttercup, and move on. Drink water, drive on, soldier. Like just do it.
Yeah. A good friend of mine, road marches were really hard for me. I was small.
Yeah, me too.
In the Marine Corps and short, stubby little hobbit legs. And road marches would kill me. It was so hard. I was basically like jogging the whole time.
Yeah, me too.
And
then all the tall people are pissed off at me because they're like walking so slow. And I'm like, they won't let me run.
Yeah, say, how can I do this?
Yeah.
And good friend of mine, George Wade, he'd say this. He'd say, take a knee, drink some water, and suck it up. And that was on my business cards for years when I first started my company. And it really, we're not saying you just have to suck it up, with mental health and struggling mental health. That's not what we're saying at all. What we're saying is that process of growth is hard.
Right.
And when you're trying to grow, that's when you have to suck it up and push forward.
Yeah.
Is when you're in that process of growth. If you're stuck in this mental health mire, we're not saying you got to suck it up there. Like, that's not it. It's when you start to move forward, and that pain of growth has to be more important than the pain of staying where you're at. Yeah.
And to play the advocate, there are going to be moments in your mental health where you have to just suck it up.
Yeah, there are.
Right. And we're not saying like in general, like, oh, just quit being a baby, move on. But things like we've talked about a lot in the past is this idea of boundaries. And how people have gotten this idea of boundaries. And I sent you another video of like, what is this? Like, you don't show up for your friends at special events anymore, or for different, oh, I got to set boundaries and take care of my mental health because crowds make me nervous. Suck it up. Show up for your friend.
Well, so part of that is learning how to do that in a healthy way. Don't just suck it up and go and not have the tools that you need to be healthy in those moments.
Yeah.
So there's a difference there. Sucking it up means that you take the time and energy to invest in your mental health, to gain the tools, skills, and abilities to be able to suck it up and move through that.
Right. Well, because how many years did I just suck it up and try to just survive in life because I thought that was my only option?
That's surviving versus thriving.
Yeah.
And that's the difference, is you have to take the time and energy to train so that way you're ready for battle. It's like being in the military. I mean, we're not going to just show up day one and go straight to Iraq with no training. No, they're going to put you through basic training, then MOS school, then advanced combat training, and then you're going to train with your unit.
Yeah.
There's all of this training to prepare you for battle.
Yes.
But people think they can just walk onto the battlefield of the mind and they wonder why they keep losing.
Yeah.
It's because they're not taking the time to invest in the training and the tools so they can suck up. And now here's something you said earlier. The people say, oh, you need to get over it. I don't think there is any getting over it. You have to learn to go through it.
Yes.
There is no getting over it. That means avoiding whatever that was.
Yeah.
Like dismissing. I'm just going to get over this. I'm not going to deal with it. I'm not going to manage it. I'm just going to ignore it, get over it. But no, you've got to walk through it.
Yeah.
You've got to walk through it. And that's the difference, I think, I see when it comes to the journey that you and I have had versus the journey of the other people that we're trying to help.
Yeah.
Is that they haven't gotten the tools and the training to be able to do that. Or some of them have, but then they don't use them. And I think that frustrates me more than anything.
Yeah, because it's hard work.
It is.
It takes work.
It is hard every time.
I had my husband and I are doing a marriage small group enrichment at our church, and I had a sweet lady come up to me and say it was super interesting, right? Because we start the marriage small group with he takes the men, I take the women, and we just hit them hard with, do not come here to try to fix your spouse. Come here for you to figure out what you need to do to be the best person you can be for your spouse. So after we separate them and we have a really come to Jesus talk with them about getting their heart right, we come together and we give them some really great tools on communication and how easy communication in your marriage could look like if you just followed these rules. And they look really beautiful on paper, right? When you're in the thick of intimate, close relationships and your feelings get hurt, it's not so easy to follow these rules, okay? But this sweet wife came up to me and she said, not that I was with the mindset of, oh, good, my husband's going to get better. She said, I was in the mindset of, cool, we're going to grow together in this. And then I realized, this growing is going to take work. And I don't know why I didn't put the two together. This is going to be hard work. And I was like, good. That's a great place to start. At least you're being vulnerable and honest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's a lot of people. They look and say, oh, it must be nice. That's easy. And then they get into it and they realize very quickly that it's not. And that's why I'm trying to break these things down into smaller bite-sized pieces for people.
Yeah.
And honestly, the whole relationships and marriage thing is something that I'm not very well versed at. I'm really good in personal growth. I understand this thing. I'm personal growth. I got it. I could teach you, train you, help you understand it, put things in place, build these things out. I'm fantastic with that. But when it comes to the relationship side of things, I'm not great at that. I'm pretty terrible. So
being a good husband is all about personal growth as a husband.
Yes, but there's still some communication and relationship dynamics that I am not well versed at. When it comes to parenting, when it comes to relationships, you've got that unlocked. You've really focused, your personal growth has been in that area.
Sure. Yeah.
For sure. And mine has not been in the relationship building area.
Well, and if we were the same, then we would be number one competitors.
Right. Yeah. We would be.
Yeah.
But it is you really work on that relationship piece.
Yeah.
I need to get into one of these classes that you have. I really do. My wife and I have talked about it. Didn't work out with our schedules for this one, but keep us posted because I definitely, we both agree we want to get into that.
Well, you guys are helping me put together the one in February, the overnight one.
You didn't do an overnight one. I saw that. Okay, so I didn't know exactly when that was. I didn't see a date on it, but I understood what you were doing. Yeah, we're gonna help you put that.
You're not, but action button media is.
Yeah. I saw it come through. I see everything come through the funnel, right? Like I see it, I got eyes on it, but that doesn't mean I know all the details of it because my team is really good. So February overnight, where are you thinking about doing this?
I'm reaching out to a couple different places to see cost, because right now, if I charge $299 per couple just for the marriage enrichment seminar, then they still have to pay for their own hotel rooms.
So what? It's worth it.
Yeah, but that will put us about even, and I wouldn't make any money on it, which is fine.
No. That's not what I'm saying. No. That's for the course, but then they have to pay on top whatever their room costs.
Yeah, but even charging $299, which I feel is like,
yeah, but you don't include the room in that, is what I'm saying.
No, I know, but even if I got 15 to 20 couples to sign up, that's just gonna, the $300 per couple is just gonna pay for the event.
Oh, for the facility, you're talking about for
the facility rental and the food that you have to do with it and stuff like that. So I'm just in the research.
Right. So yeah, well, I can help you out with that. I'm really good at that. Those pieces. So that will come to me eventually, where they'll ask me to help dial that in. Why not do it right here at the Muckleshoot?
Because it's going to be biblically based, and I don't want to put temptation in front of people if they have problem drinking or gambling.
That's going to be any hotel you go to has a hotel bar.
A hotel bar, but it's totally different, I think, than a big, like, exciting casino. I know a handful of the people that are actually going to sign up and go, and
okay. No, it's fine.
Yeah,
it's fine. Okay, I'm okay. I want to help. Try and
pause this. This isn't part of our podcast.
Yeah, this is part of our podcast. This is our life. This is what we do. We build retreats because guess what, you guys? As soon as this thing's ready to go, who we're going to tell about it? You guys. And you guys will be some of the first people that will get to sign up and see this thing as it rolls out. So yeah, this is part of our podcast.
Okay, sure.
Because we create events for people to have experiences that change their life.
Yes.
That's what I've done with Q Missions, with helping veterans, is create space where it can change their life. Okay, so let's get back, Jessica, to the ACC, the anterior cingulate cortex. I'm reading this really great book. It's the title is called How God Changes Your Brain. And these are two neuroscientists that didn't believe in God, but they wanted to study all these different religions about different people who saw God differently. So Christians, Muslims, Buddhists, atheists, agnostics, like they studied everybody to see what are the commonalities about how they think of God. And it was fascinating, some of the stuff that came out. Spoiler alert, the two guys, the one guy's like, I don't believe in God. But after this, he's like, well, there's got to be something. I don't know what it is, but there's something. And the other guy's like, nope, I know that there's a God for sure. So that's the two neuroscientists who were studying this both came to those conclusions, which I just thought was really fascinating.
Yeah.
So with the ACC, Dr. Andrew Newberg, he really, really challenges our idea of emotional regulation. And he talks about this small little piece of the brain. So most people, I'd say all the way up until the last probably 2 decades, people have been ruled by their emotions and not understood why. Now we can see the brain through these advanced brain scan imaging and see exactly what's happening there. And we realize very quickly that yes, we are ruled by our emotions only when we don't control them. It's like having a 2-year-old and not putting any discipline in place. That 2-year-old is going to run rampant, tear stuff up, throw stuff around, act crazy, eat cake and popcorn all day.
Yeah, if there's no structure or
discipline in the room.
Yes.
There has to be an adult in the room.
An adult who actually does something.
Yeah, okay, yeah. A responsible adult in the room that does something. And so one of the things I was really looking at this, and I really get into the neuroscience of it. And so I was trying to find a way that I could share this with people to help them understand how the ACC works versus the amygdala and our emotional brain and our cognitive thought process. And so you guys, if you're hearing us for the first time, you're like, I don't know what any of those mean. We're going to break it down.
Yeah. And what's going to be, what's incredible is as you with your nerd brain breaks this down for us in layman's terms, like I'm connecting thousands of hours of counseling with people and making that connection of like, and some of the education I've been through, right, with my master's in counseling, that your chances of your teenagers becoming suicidal skyrockets if they have a smartphone before 13 years old.
I believe it.
And it's because having that smartphone and learning the addiction that comes with a smartphone is the direct opposite of building your ACC.
Absolutely right. Yep.
Right? Because we talk about the ACC is the part of the brain that grows when you do hard things, and how, and we'll get into that, but how,
You're right.
how many times do I have to do family parent counseling with these kids that have these major mental health challenges, very serious mental health challenges, because they had no structure, no discipline, and were not taught to do hard things from a young age.
Well, and the other thing is that their brain is so addicted to that because it's dopamine. Every time they scroll, like Instagram, everything, dopamine. And then you say, well, we're going to take that away. And you have to now participate in real life with people and do your homework, clean your room, do all these things. And your brain is now immediately starved for dopamine because you used to just scrolling and getting your next hit of dopamine. And so that's what happens when you achieve a small goal. Your brain produces dopamine. It gets released in your brain, which makes you feel good. And it gives you the motivation to do the next thing and the next thing and the next thing. This is why when you have a large project, if you break it into small little pieces, it's easier to accomplish because you accomplish step one and the brain says, ooh, I've accomplished step one.
Yeah.
Now I have motivation to do step two, step three, step four. This is how God designed our brain, to keep us alive.
Yes.
To keep us alive.
Aaron, tell us in layman's term with your heater analogy, what the AC is and what it does.
Yes. So the brain wants this dopamine. And if we set ourselves up for success, we will put small goals in front of us that are real, not on the phone, but are real. And that will help us to grow the ACC. Now, here's what I found when I bought this house. It's an older house and the furnace is enormous. It's the size of a submarine. It takes up a huge part of one of the rooms. This thing is massive. And when we first got in here, we turned on the heater and it would just cook you out. It would cook you out.
So the whole house became a sauna.
Oh, it's so hot. You have to roll open the windows and let it out. And there's a basement and then a top floor. So the basement is super cold and then the top floor is roasting. And it just wouldn't regulate. And I was like, what is happening right now? My heater is broken. I got to get a new furnace. This thing won't stop. Because we just opened all the windows. And now I'm spending so much more money.
Yeah.
And downstairs is freezing. Upstairs is too hot. And it was such a nightmare to deal with this. We'd leave and you got to close everything down. You'd come back and the house is a sauna. It's like, oh my gosh, I got to try and cool this down. And it was so stressful to deal with that. And I'm spending a lot of time, money, and it's not efficient. Everybody's unhappy. And so I had a guy come out. I said, look, I got to replace this furnace. Praise God, he's Christian, because anybody else probably would have been like, oh yeah, brand new furnace. He said, no man, furnace is great. Like this thing's a dinosaur, but it's in great shape. It's working perfectly. Your problem is a thermostat. So there's a little tiny.
How much was that? I'm sorry.
There's this little tiny piece that sets in the room. There's these little sensors.
Yeah.
And it goes to a thermostat. And the thermostat tells the heater when to turn on and when to turn off, depending on what temperature you set it at. It's like, well, you can get a thermostat, something like $50. It's like, you kidding me? He's like, no. But here's an even better one. Here's a smart thermostat. Now, if you put a smart thermostat in, it's going to take some work. You're going to have to put these sensors up. You're going to have to program it. You're going to have to learn, put a little bit of work into this thing and learn how it operates. You can set different zones for different areas. You can build out different protocols for like daytime, nighttime. You know, you're going to be gone pretty much all day Sunday for church. So you don't need the house warm at all. It can be cool. And then an hour before you know you're going to be home, it'll turn on. You can, if you're going to be coming home early, you can control it on your phone. So it's going to take some work, but if you want to put in the work, then this is like $200, but it's going to make your life a lot easier.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, man, let's put the work in. Once we did that, all of the frustration that was in the house went away. See, it wasn't the furnace. The furnace was doing its job. It was going 100 miles an hour with no helmet. It was doing its job, but there was nothing regulating that temperature, telling it when to turn on and when to turn off. This is our brain.
That's so good, Aaron. That's really good.
This is our brain. You see, our emotions, which is controlled by the amygdala, our emotions are the furnace, and they're just going 100 miles an hour in every direction. The ACC, the anterior cingulate cortex, this small little part of the brain, its job is to regulate those emotions, tell them when to turn on, when to turn off. And when they turn on, they don't have to go to 90 degrees.
Yeah.
They can go to 65
Yeah.
or 67 and come back down. That's what the ACC does. And so when I was looking for a way to explain it,
that's really cool.
I heard my furnace kick on and I was like, that's it. It's this furnace. Those are our emotions.
Yeah.
And the thermostat is our ACC. Now, you can have a basic thermostat like my house had and it failed, or you can upgrade it, which takes a lot more time, energy, and money. But now I can control this thing at the touch of a button. And that's what it's like when you invest time and money and energy into building your mental health, building your resilience and your ACC. Because when that area of the brain grows, then you have more control over your emotions.
Let me ask you, was investing in the $200 one and the work that went into doing it worth it?
Oh, 100%. I would have paid twice as much, 3 times as much.
Yeah.
It makes it so much easier to manage things now than it did before. Okay, so that's my very layman, very easy
That's good.
description. Give us the Doc Jess counselor version.
No. That was so good. I mean, I wouldn't even know how to you can't top that.
So here's what I want to share with you guys is that the majority of our emotions are fear-based. They're driven by some sort of fear.
The majority of our emotions?
The negative emotions, yeah, are driven by fear. Some sort of fear of loss, a fear of death, a fear of getting hurt, some sort of fear
of rejection.
And we don't recognize it on the cognitive level, like on a thinking cognitive level. You're not even going to recognize this, but internally your ACC recognizes it because fear, danger, threat assessment, that's what it does. So it's going to register. This person said this to me, or I saw this thing, and that's a threat. It's immediately going to spike those emotions, which 2 things happen. Adrenaline and cortisol are the 2 things that happen in your brain. Adrenaline goes to your major muscle groups and increases your heartbeat, increases your lung capacity, and it goes to your major muscle groups because it's ready to fight or run. The other thing that's going to happen is cortisol. Now, cortisol, what it does is it coats the synapses of your brain, which are your ability to think and process information. So it coats those down and you create tunnel vision. So you're no longer able to have rational thought.
Yes.
So that part of the brain actually shuts down and you're just in survival mode. So it doesn't matter what this person says or does. Beyond that, your brain's already in that fight or flight. So it's always going to see things through a negative lens.
Yeah.
So no matter what that person says or does, your brain will now interpret it as being negative, as being a threat. And if you don't learn how to control this thing, you're always going to have these reactions and you're going to wonder why you keep repeating these patterns.
Yeah. There's so many connections from like recent church services, marriage small groups, podcasts that we've done in the last month, right? When you talked about why do you wake up at 3 a.m.? Okay. Yeah. And we had a conversation
or people behaving badly.
Yes.
This should be a segment on our show. I'm just saying.
Which, and so it, right, in this marriage small group, one of the rules is don't try to have serious conversations at night or when you're really tired. And right. And so we're unpacking this. So what does it look like? The Bible says, don't go to bed angry.
Well, it says, don't let the sun go down on your anger.
Okay. Yeah. 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 And right. And so it's in Proverbs.
That's the millennial version of.
Yes. And it's in Proverbs. Right. And so as we're unpacking this with this couple, I'm reminded of neuroscience and what people like Dr. Andrew Newberg and other neuroscientists are coming up with, that, and remembering that finding that witching hour between 2 and 3 waking up is when you go to sleep with a higher level of cortisol, right? And that's your stress hormone. And so of course, the Bible is giving us guidelines because because the Lord knew Proverbs 6,000 years ago, 4,000 years ago, how our bodies were made. I wonder why, because the creator of the universe knows how he made our bodies and then instructed people who wrote the Bible through the Holy Spirit what to tell us to have good and wholesome lives. So it's not that don't ever go like to sleep angry, like ever, or you're going to lose your salvation. It's a proverb. It's like this is a helpful way of life. Don't make a habit of going to bed angry or letting the sun set on your anger, because it's not going to be good for your circadian rhythm. That's Doc Jess's interpretation of that Proverbs, right? And now neuroscience is proving that to be true, what God has been telling us for thousands of years. That's another one of those nuggets that neuroscience is finding to be true in the Word of God.
Well, it's even worse than that, Jess, because when you do that, when you have something that happens and then you ruminate on it, and we've talked about rumination before, which means you keep replaying it over and over and over, and then it gets bigger and bigger and bigger, and you're getting more and more cortisol, that starts to damage your body on a cellular level.
Yeah.
So think about it like this. These stress hormones are like putting NOS into your engine. That's good for a short amount of time. But if you just ran straight NOS into your engine, you're going to blow that thing up. Well, it's same thing happens in your body. If you continually have cortisol and adrenaline coursing through your veins, you start to deteriorate on a cellular level.
Right. And your prefrontal cortex starts to break down.
It does, but it starts damaging your heart.
Yeah.
You're at higher risk for heart disease,
Yep.
hypertension, diabetes, cancers, all of these things, because you have a weakened immune system,
right? Because
of all of these stress hormones that are made for small little amounts of time, but you're constantly living in that stressful environment.
Yes.
This is why we were also jacked up when all of us came back from Iraq and Afghanistan, is because we were under stress for such a long period of time, heightened state of emergency and stress for such a long period of time. It really damaged us on a cellular level, not just our brain, but our body as well. And it's taken us many, many years to heal that.
Yeah. And right. And that's the difference between modern warfare, versus World War II, where they would, right. Neither is worse or better as far as the trauma, but it's coming to the front line, having a battle for a couple days, retreating, relaxing, allowing your nervous system and your prefrontal cortex and all those things to relax, know that it's safe, and then again, re-engage. Like when I was deployed for 300 plus days, my life was at stake every single day. I was on guard every single day. I had that cortisol every single day at high amounts. And that's like running a car on the NOS constantly. Your engine's going to blow. And so the PTSD from modern warfare versus PTSD from back then, it just looks different. And it takes different processes, programs, work to help heal it, rebuild, and grow from that versus what it used to look like.
And it's crazy because the healing journeys look different, right? It's a longer healing process for the modern warfare than the other warfare. But they didn't know anything about the brain-body connection back then to heal you or help you versus everything we know now.
Well, they knew the Bible.
So it's not better or worse. It's just these things were totally different.
Yeah.
Here are two things you can do to grow your ACC. Two things. One, doing hard things, seeking out very hard things to do. And the second is meditation. So let's get into the first one, doing hard things. Now, in professional athletes and in military veterans like us, the ACC is already really big because we've had to do really hard things. So that's one of the ways that you can grow your ACC is to seek out challenges and do hard things, to sit in that uncomfortable space.
And if I can piggyback that, right? Like if I can help break down why, and in some of the studies I read, not to say that reservists or National Guards are any less than, but it is a study on active duty military and professional athletes, because if you're in active duty for 4 years, which is a normal term, you're doing stuff you really don't want to do every single day. And that builds and builds and builds and builds and builds, micro builds on your ACC. Professional athletes, if you're going to be a professional athlete, you have to put in the work and do the hard things that you don't want to do every single day. Now, National Guard and reserves, they have to do hard things. Absolutely. I'm not putting them down at all, but it's not the consistent every single day, 365 days a year, 4 years in a row.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. And so this isn't like, here, I'm going to
knock at our reservist or
no.
National Guard or anything like that.
But
this is the reality of it. This is what the data shows.
Right. And to give you perspective that this is not just like a once a month, I'm going to do something hard. That's not going to help you at all. This is I'm going to make a choice to do micro growths to get my ACC to build. Okay, go ahead.
Right. And that's exactly what we're talking about. So you can endure hardship and that grows your ACC. So how do you do that? Having the morning routine.
Mm-hmm.
It's difficult. It's hard. I've been doing it for years and it's still difficult for me. It's not easy. It's still difficult.
Yeah. So we're talking about the morning routine and how you've been doing it for years. And it's still something that I have to, if I can hijack this, you got me to do the morning routine about 2 years ago.
Yeah. I guess it has been 2 years.
Since we started the podcast.
Yeah.
And it drastically changed my life in a good way that, remember, for like 6 months, my husband was so bitter. He's like, and then I come in and be like, you guys need to pray for my marriage is falling apart. No, it wasn't. But now my husband gets up and does his morning routine every single day. It's drastically changed his life. Yeah. But we're constantly presented with like, oh, it'd be so much easier just to take a day off.
Yes.
You take a day off, you take a week off. You take a week off, the next thing you know, 3 months later, you're completely off your morning routine that sets everything in place to grow.
It's not easy. Morning routine and evening routine. I tell people that these are the two most important parts of your day. Everything else in the middle doesn't matter. It's if you start well and end well, that's what really, really matters because your brain is in alpha wave state and theta wave state. And that is how you can alpha wave. Your brain is being programmed. So whatever you put into it, if you put TikTok or Instagram or news into your brain in the first 20 minutes, emails, you introduce stress, your brain's going to look for stress all day. And then at night, you've had stress all day. So you've got to take your brain and bring it down a notch.
And trying to bring that cortisol down.
That's right. Into theta wave. And so doing mindful meditation before you go to bed is going to help you sleep better and avoid those wake up calls.
Yeah.
So the beginning and the end of your day are so crucial to taking control of your mental health. This is where I start everybody. Mm-hmm. This piece is so important. And I knew it was important because I read scripture and I was starting to study neuroscience. And so I was doing this, but I wasn't super dedicated to it. Mm. But once I found this research study by Andrew Newberg that came out years ago, I was fascinated by it. And I was like, oh my gosh, that's why this works.
And you know, Aaron, what's so hard is I would say 9 out of 10 clients who are coming to professional mental health help say, no, that's too much work. Please help me in this area of my life. 9 out of 10 that I say, I can help you. I can make all of this better. And the morning and the night routine, they won't do it.
Isn't that wild? So just throw out a number. What percentage of people do you think it would solve their problem to the point they wouldn't need to go to counseling anymore if they had their morning and night routine?
80%.
80%. Yeah, I would have guessed 50, but okay, 80%. You're the one in the chair. You know.
If they did a proper morning and evening routine and they continued to build on that morning and evening routine and then stretching it, like just constantly building, right? And part of the problem I've noticed is it's not a quick fix.
No.
So they do it for a little bit and it didn't work for me. I tried that.
So yeah, you try it for 3 days.
Yeah. I would say it's not even going to really make a difference after 30. It will, but I say like you, 45.
It's
45, for 45 days.
It's the minimum amount of time your brain needs to start to build new neural connections. People say to build a healthy habit. Well, what's a habit? Habit are neural connections in your brain. So to create enough neural connections to make that a habit, it takes minimum 45 up to 60 days.
Right.
And then you've got a new habit. But that's doing it every single day.
Yeah.
Nonstop. So I did this, Jessica, I did this where I wanted to one of the areas I was like, my prayer life is not where I want it to be. And so I hyper focused on this for 40 days. 40 days. And I wasn't like, oh, I'm going to do this for 40 days. Like, no, I'm going to do this until I figure it out. It wasn't like 40 days. I'm going to do this till I figured it out. And I sat in prayer in my morning routine, get up. First thing I'd do is I'd go in my closet and I'd sit there, a little bench, and I would just pray to try and grow my prayer life. And after 40 days, literally on the 40th day, and I didn't know this because I'm tracking it, but I wasn't paying attention to it.
Yeah.
But I got this revelation from God and I was like, oh my gosh, I've been doing this wrong. I need to focus my energy in this direction, not this direction. And I made that
at day 40.
I didn't know it was day 40. I made that change. And then I went and talked to Pastor Kevin Moody. I'm like, hey, because I went and talked to him.
I know, he loved it.
I said, hey, I want to grow my prayer life. Teach me. And he's like, hey, simple, X, Y, and Z. I'm like, got it. I did X, I did Y, I did Z. I did it. And I went back and said, hey, this was my experience. I told my wife, told my friends, I'm like, hey, I'm praying on this, and I'm making this decision. And I made that decision right now. Now, it was not easy. I had to shut down an entire operating business that was doing really well. And I'd say, I am no longer going to teach people how to make money. I'm only going to teach them how to make impact. I'm only going to teach people about mental health. Everybody wants my help how to build a business, and I'm just not doing it anymore. I'm not. We still have our marketing company and everything like that, but I'm not teaching people how to make money anymore. I'm not coaching anybody in business. Yeah. I'm just not doing it. I'm only going to teach people about mental health. And if there's entrepreneurs in there and they start doing this and getting these things down, then I'll teach you how to make money. But I don't care about when you make money. Yeah. It doesn't matter to me. But that is what God revealed to me on day 40. And it wasn't until every week I go back and I look at my notes because I'm a nerd and what are the trend lines? How do these things happen? What happened? And I was like, oh my gosh, this was on day 40. 40 days in the wilderness. Yep. And what is Jesus? In the Bible, it says that Jesus would get up very early in the morning and
be with his Father. Pray. Go talk to his Father. Yeah.
Yeah. So your morning routine is one of the best ways to build doing hard things. And your morning routine is a hard thing to do. So enduring hardship, that is a really great way to build your ACC. There's another way to do it, meditation. So talk to us a little bit about the mindful meditation that you teach people in your practice.
Yeah. So again, this is another thing that why I wanted to kind of paint a picture of the professional athlete and the active duty. It's a built practice. Mindfulness is a practice, meditation. And right, we're not talking woohoo, new age meditation. Meditation means becoming familiar with, okay? And so mindfulness for me that I walk my clients through is like a Christian body scan. And there's a 7 to 10 minute one where a Christian lady is narrating and walking you through just being present in your body, slowing your mind down and focusing on your big toe, and then focusing on your calf. And just, do you feel anything there? If you don't, no judgment. And then going up to your knee. And then you notice, oh, my mind is wandering to what I'm going to make for dinner. No judgment. Gently bring it back. Right. And we're narrating through this body scan. And throughout it, we're adding scripture because our bodies were bought and paid for with a price, 1 Corinthians. And all these scriptures adding into this meditation. And what happens, one of the things that's happening is when we're on the kneecap and our mind wanders and we, without judgment, slowly bring it back, you're building neurotransmitters and you're building new ones and you're making the other ones stronger. So, and this is why we need to do it every single day. And studies show 10 to 20 minutes every single day is what actually makes a difference. And this is why if you want bigger biceps and you go to the gym once a week and work on your biceps, you're not going to get anywhere very fast, if anything at all. Okay. Because your muscle fibers have to break down and rebuild and all that stuff. If you go 5 days a week to the gym and just work on your biceps, in 6 months, they're going to be unstoppable, stronger, better, healthier. And it's because it's one of these practices that are these micro buildings to build your ACC. Right. And so this isn't something like, again, oh, I tried mindfulness and it just didn't work for me. No, I want to hear you try it for 10 minutes every day for 45 days, take an actual assessment before and after and see if it helped, right? It's just like gratitude. I tried that for a couple of days. It didn't work for me. Well, the research out of UC Berkeley showed with 2 participating
For this study.
group A, right, was told, well, they all had to do these mental health assessments like the GAD-7, and which is just like a common mental health assessments that us as counselors or psychotherapists or psychologists give to our clients to see where they're at on their anxiety scale and their depression scale. And so they were all given this, and they were all given, a certain level of anxiety and depression. So group A had to wake up every morning, and the first thing they had to do was just write 3 things they were grateful for 90 days. Group B was the placebo. They said, don't change anything. At the end of 90 days, 25% of unwanted anxiety and depression was diminished. 25%, that in 90 days.
That's not 25% of the people.
That's
everybody was affected, but their levels went down by 25%. So don't get that confused. Like this only helped 25% of the people. No, it helped 100% of those people in that group. And the average was it brought it down by 25%.
Yes.
Their anxiety. Just to be clear.
Yes.
That it worked for all of them.
Yes.
It just, the average was 25% decrease.
Yes. Right. So that does gratitude and practicing that help your ACC? I'm sure it does.
That's exactly it. It is. You're growing your ACC because you're intentionally focusing on doing something difficult.
Yeah.
And that's the goal. This is not going to be easy. The cold plunge. You know how many people I have suckered into doing the cold plunge and now make it part of their life? Because when they get in that cold water, it sucks. It's miserable. It's cold, but they know it's going to help them because they're doing hard things. And that area of the brain, the ACC, is going to grow, which is going to allow them to emotionally regulate faster and better so they don't get upset easier. And it's also going to reduce the cortisol in your body immediately because it's turning on your vagus nerve, which is where your rest and digest brain lives. And so cortisol shuts that part of the brain body off. But when you get in that cold water, it shocks it right back. And you are present, you are in the moment, and that cortisol is gone because all your body is thinking about is how cold it is. It doesn't think about anything else.
Yeah.
And if you haven't tried the cold plunge, get in that bad boy and you're going to see exactly what I'm talking about. That's the only thing you can think about right there. That's it. The only thing, you're hyper-focused on the cold.
And this is a good episode. I have so many examples, but for me, the cold plunge, because I got suckered into it by somebody. I was the combat veteran who was so bad that I had to take a benzo, which is like a Valium, a Xanax, a Ativan. I used to have to take it on a regular basis. Okay. And then as I started my post-traumatic growth journey, it slowly scaled back and back and back. And I was to a point when I started the cold plunge where I had gotten down to only needing it once or twice a month, which was a big deal for me. And I started cold plunging, okay? And I hated having to take it because it made me so groggy and so drowsy for days afterwards. And so I did...
Taking the benzo.
Yes, taking the medication. And so I did try everything first to not have to take it. But I still had to, give in and take it once or twice a month, depending on what stressors were in my life. And so I was about 3 months into cold plunging on 2 to 3 mornings a week. And it was regimented, right? And I had one of these moments where I tried everything and I was like, okay, I'm going to have to take one of these Ativans. And I said, hold on, I have the cold plunge ready. I'm going to try the cold plunge first. Because before that, I thought it was a morning routine thing and it didn't really get to my brain. So I said, I'm going to try this first because it's my last ditch effort before I'm going to take this pill. So I do the cold plunge for 4.5 minutes and I get out 100% better. I feel better enough to not have to take it. 100%, my PTSD spiral was gone, done. And I didn't have to deal with the hangover of taking this chemical dependent drug that is not good for me.
It totally reset your system. That's exactly what it does. But that's a hard thing. People don't want to do it. But when you make it a habit to do hard things, you just do them anyway.
I hate being cold. I hate the cold plunge. I've been doing it for 1.5 years now, off and on, different seasons of doing it regularly, going a month without doing it, whatever. But I still hate every single second of doing it. And so when people tell me, oh, I can never do that, I hate being cold, I am the epitome of I hate being cold. I hate doing the cold plunge, but it has so much benefit to mental health that I do hard things because it's way better than my other options.
All right, guys, we've told you all about the ACC, how it operates. We gave you the thermostat example. And now what I want to do is I want to tell you guys a story. Some of you old school guys are going to remember the Q Tales, where we would start out every episode where I would tell a story and you guys were trying to guess who it was, you included. So you don't even know who this is.
Okay.
So I'm going to tell you guys a story about somebody who grew their ACC, talk openly about mental health, and you guys get to guess who it is. So for our new viewers, here we go. He sat in the locker room, so quiet that you could hear the hiss of the air vents echo like a storm as it was winding down. His teammates had long since left. The cameras were packed up, reporters had gone, and he was alone again. Not because he lost, but because he won. And it still didn't feel like enough. It wasn't his first championship. It wasn't even his most impressive one. But lately, every victory felt emptier than the last. He'd mastered the physical grind, early mornings, brutal practices, game-winning performances. But nobody saw the internal war. Nobody saw the nights that he couldn't sleep, the tension headaches, the invisible fire that burned in his chest just below the surface. He wasn't fighting opponents anymore. He was just fighting himself. And then something shifted. It wasn't in the gym. It wasn't in the championship game. It was when a mentor introduced him to a different way of training, not for his body, but for his mind. At first, it sounded weak to sit in silence, to meditate, to pray, but he tried it. Just 10 minutes a day, then 20. In hotel rooms, on buses, in green rooms, before interviews, and then he began to journal, to breathe and reflect. And slowly, his thermostat began to regulate. The panic attacks stopped. The short fuses faded, and he was no longer controlled by the storm. He'd become the calm inside of it. He credits his emotional regulation, his peace, not just to prayer, but to the brain science behind prayer. He talks publicly about the power of the anterior cingulate cortex, about mindfulness, about rewiring your reactions. He teaches young athletes not just how to play, but how to breathe, because he knows that true greatness isn't about reacting in chaos. It's about regulating your peace. You know him for his rings. You know him for his gold medals, for his fierce fire on the court. But the real victories came in the stillness. His name is LeBron James, and he fixed his thermostat. Now, when I researched this, he did a lot of work with the Calm app. Yeah, with the Calm app. And so he talked openly about that in this interview that he did with Wired Magazine, where he was talking openly about these things, about how it totally changed the way he was not just acting on the court, but interacting with his team and his family by putting this meditation piece in.
And let me wrap things up with this other amazing research. In general, in 2018, research was done, and levels were about 56% of marriages ending in divorce in the secular world. In the church, it was 54%. And you think, oh, that's not that big of a difference. Now, mind you, in the secular world these days, getting married is down 30%. And so it's not really an accurate reflection of divorce or breaking things up, right? Because people just aren't getting married anymore. But 54% in the church, okay? In this research, they found that a marriage that made the habit of praying together for 10 minutes every day, not just, hey, Lord, thank you for this meal. Every day, set aside 10 minutes to intentionally grab hands and pray together every day. Take a guess at what their divorce rate was. 0.07.
Pretty close to zero.
Less than 1%. With those stats, tell me there is not a God.
That is the number one marriage tip ever. Marriage seminar over. Like, teach that and walk away.
And I teach it.
People pay you $1,000, show up, give that one line, walk out. That's it.
Out of hundreds of couples that I've counseled and told that statistic to, maybe one has done it.
Why? I don't understand this. We know these things. We teach these things. We share these things with other people, and they just don't do it. I don't understand it.
It's a hard field to be in. Our ACCs are growing every day.
It really is hard to be in this field, Jess. I mean, you know me, I could retire. I could retire today.
I couldn't.
God called me to this work. And so I'm here. I'm doing the hard things.
That's why he gets more angry than I do.
I'm teaching. I'm training you. You're doing nothing.
That's why you get more angry than me. Because you don't emotionally regulate as much. Yeah. Okay. You need to come to my class. No, I'm kidding.
I do. All right. Yeah, I do, because because I teach this doesn't mean I know how to do it perfectly.
Yeah, me too.
I'm always learning.
That's why I teach it, because I keep learning more as I teach it.
Absolutely. All right. So for the mental health janitors, we like to do 3 things. We like to educate you on the brain-body connection, empower you with really simple tools that you can use, and encourage you to teach them to your friends and your families. For the mental health janitors, I'm Sergeant Q.
I'm Doc Jess.
And we're out.